Next on CBS News 8 at 5, new details tonight about the Riverside County couple accused of torturing their captive children as they appear in court for the first time.
Time is winding down for Congress to pass a new spending bill before the government is forced to shut down.
And Father Joe Carroll asks for blood donations ahead of his next surgery. CBS News 8 at 5 starts right now.
You're watching San Diego's breaking news leader. This is CBS News 8 at 5.
You know, sometimes in this business we're faced with looking at human depravity, and that's what we're looking at here.
Correctly.
A Riverside County couple accused of starving and torturing their 13 children answers to charges in court. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Chiquetto.
And I'm Barbara Lee Edwards. David and Louise Turpin face more than 30 criminal charges, including multiple counts of torture and child abuse.
They appeared before a judge today for the first time since their malnourished children were found captive inside their home. 3 of the children in chains. CBS News 8's Shannon Handy is live in Riverside with what happened in court. Shannon?
Carlo and Barbara Lee, the Turpins appeared in court together. They pleaded not guilty to those charges. Meanwhile, the district attorney released new details about this case, which may be difficult for some to hear.
People in the state of California versus Louise Ann Turpin and David Allen Turpin.
David and Louise Turpin show no emotion in court Thursday. This as Riverside District Attorney Mike Hestrin detailed the horrific crimes they're accused of committing against 12 of their 13 children.
This is severe, emotional, physical abuse. There's no way around that.
On behalf of David Turpin, he is present before the court.
Each faces 37 counts, including torture, child abuse, and false imprisonment. David also faces 1 count of a lewd act on a child. Hestrin says the abuse started in 2010 and progressively got worse.
None of the victims were allowed to shower more than once a year. It's where if the children were found to wash their hands above the wrist area, they were accused of playing in the water, and they would be chained up.
Some would be beaten or strangled. Hestrin alleges the children ranging in ages from 2 to 29 slept all day, staying up only at night. They were not allowed to play with toys and had never been to a dentist. They were often chained to beds surrounded by their own feces. All of the victims are described as being severely malnourished.
One of the children at age 12 is the weight of an average 7-year-old. The 29-year-old female victim weighs 82 pounds. The parents would apparently buy food for themselves and not allow the children to eat it.
The allegations came to light Sunday after the couple's 17-year-old daughter escaped from their Paris home through a window and called 911. It's a plan she and her siblings had been working on for 2 years. When deputies arrived, Louise was reportedly perplexed as to why they were there. Some of the children confused as to who they were.
They lack a basic knowledge of life. Many of the children didn't know what a police officer was.
I want you to hold your wife's hands, and now if you want to pass over your flowers.
Officials have not said why the parents allegedly treated their kids this way. They're now being treated in a hospital and are said to be relieved. The beginning of a healing process that may never end.
Several of the victims have cognitive impairment and neuropathy, which is nerve damage as a result of this extreme and prolonged physical abuse.
And prior to their arrest, no one raised any red flags with police. The couple, meanwhile, remains behind bars on $12 million bail apiece. They face 94 years to life in prison. Coming up new for you at 6:30, hear from David Turpin's attorney. Back to you.
Thanks, Shannon. Jury deliberations began today in the case of a Miramar-based Marine accused of driving drunk and causing a crash that killed 2 UCSD medical students. Jason King is charged with murder, gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated, and DUI causing injury. The May 2015 crash on the 163 killed 23-year-old Madison Cornwell and 24-year-old Ann Lee Baldock. In closing arguments, prosecutors said King intended to drink the night of the crash and intended to drive.
He knew the dangers of drinking and driving. He was warned of the consequences. And he chose to do it anyway.
King's attorney said in court that his client should be found guilty of some form of vehicular manslaughter, but not murder. King faces 30 years to life in prison if convicted on all charges.
A man accused of stabbing a woman to death near an Encanto Park made his first court appearance today. Napoleon Lang is charged in the death of Lavon Rashonda Nicole Williams. CBS News 8's Heather Hope is live with more on what happened in court today and emotional words from Lang's mother. Heather?
And it was almost a showdown in the hallway right before his arraignment began, but from the family of Williams as well as the family of Napoleon. There we spoke with his mother, and it was the family that were going back and forth. A bailiff had to come outside and break it up before his arraignment began. Both just so shocked that her body was dumped in that Encanto Park. You had to hear what his mother had to say.
Like a best friend to me, and now my son is being accused of her murder.
Caught in the middle, Sharona Hutchins is a mother torn between her best friend murdered and her son who is suspected of killing her.
You know, he kind of had a crush on her, and now I feel bad because my friend is dead and my son is the one being accused of her murder.
23-year-old Napoleon Lang faced a judge Thursday pleading not guilty to the murder charges.
Napoleon Joel Lang.
His bail is now being set at $3 million. He was also on probation for a robbery case. His mother says it all happened after the victim showed up to her home in City Heights last weekend.
Mom, I came over, you were not there, so he saw her standing at my gate and he gave her a ride and he went home. So now he gets charged with her murder. My son is not a violent person. He doesn't carry knives. He wouldn't even hurt females. He wouldn't hurt her.
San Diego police found the body of 29-year-old LaVon Rashonda Williams around 2:30 p.m. Saturday on South 66th Street. She was stabbed in the upper body, and a passerby alerted police, who saw her unresponsive at Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park, down a ravine slope where they found her body in a precarious position. She is remembered as a person who loved to laugh and a close friend of Hutchins.
She was she liked to laugh, and she was always a friendly person, laid back. You know, she would come in, spend the night at my house every night or every other night, so she wouldn't have to be outside.
Worst of all, the victim may have been pregnant.
She may have been. I knew that she probably was pregnant. So, I mean, for that reason, like I said, they need to go find the right person that did that to her, because that's not something my son would do.
Napoleon Lang is due back in court. He'll be at the new courthouse on January 31st in Department 102, due at 6:30. We then hear more from Napoleon Lang's mother, how she says she wants to attend the funeral services for Williams, but knows that that could be a very tense and tough topic for the family if she decides to attend. We'll detail you more on that coming up at 6:30. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Heather. 2 dogs are in the care of County Animal Services tonight after attacking and killing a small dog in the South Bay.
It happened in the 2700 block of Wardlow Avenue in San Isidro. The county says a German Shepherd and Pit Bull mix killed a Snorky. That's a Schnauzer and Yorkie mix. And at this point, it's not clear what led up to the attack. The man who was walking the Snorky was treated at the scene for cuts and scrapes. Tonight, local first responders who put their lives on the line to help victims of the deadly Montecito mudslides are back home.
Firefighters and rescue dogs were dispatched to Santa Barbara County to search for survivors. CBS News 8's Kelly Hessedall joins us live from the downtown fire station with their harrowing stories. Kelly?
Yeah, Barbara Lee and Carlo, the team back home after spending 5 days in Montecito. Their 2 search and rescue dogs played a crucial role in their mission.
This is Decker. He's a 7-year-old black lab Weimaraner mix. Good boy.
Stella's 10 and a half. She's a disaster search dog.
Decker and Stella, both part of California Task Force 8, home after searching for victims in the mudslides that hit Santa Barbara County. Decker's handler, San Diego Fire Captain Brent Brainerd.
Our dogs find live humans scent only. We'll work any of the areas where we feel like someone could be trapped.
Just getting through the mud was a challenge itself. These are pictures taken as the dogs were working, mud covering their bodies. They had to be washed regularly.
Let's go.
Here's video of Decker searching for survivors through a massive pile of boulders.
It was amazing. His energy and the ability for him consistently working and not stopping the entire time, it was unbelievable.
They worked 10 to 12-hour days. Stella's handler, Captain Matthew Kirk of Heartland Fire Rescue.
The biggest trait that they need is drive. So they need to have the drive, and we need them to go up there and search those places that's hard for people to get to.
The team did not find any survivors in the area they were assigned to search. Overall, at least 20 people died. 3 remain missing. And for one member of this task force, there was a personal connection.
This actually hit home for me. My wife's grandmother and aunt both live in Montecito.
San Diego Fire Captain Corey Beckwith says his wife's aunt and 93-year-old grandmother saw the debris pile barreling toward their home.
The sliding glass door blows open. She says within 5 seconds, her mom, who's shorter, is up to her neck in mud. She's up to her chest in mud. She covered herself over her mom to keep her warm.
Fortunately, both survived. He and the rest of the task force glad they were able to help out. Their dogs, crucial to this mission.
They both did really well.
He gives the survivors the best chance. If someone's trapped, and I know if I put my dog in any general area, he will find them.
And both dogs absolutely incredible, both very sweet. This was the first mudslide that they had ever been to. Coming up new at 6:30 tonight, Stella is actually nearing retirement. New at 6:30, we'll talk about something else that makes her even more special. Back to you.
All right, Kelly, thanks. The competition is heating up between two opposing plans to take over the SDCCU stadium site.
Today, the group behind Soccer City held a press conference comparing their plan to a proposal put forth by SDSU. This comes just 2 days after the university submitted more than 100,000 signatures to qualify for the November ballot. Nick Stone, project manager for Soccer City, claims the difference between the plans is simple.
One difference people should take away: the SDSU West initiative put forward by that rival group of developers is just riddled with taxpayer subsidies, which when you add it all up is hundreds of millions of dollars.
Friends of SDSU tells News 8 that no taxpayer money will be used. If both Soccer City and SDSU West are approved by voters in November, the one that receives the most votes will be adopted.
Let's check on our traffic now. Deb Hankey has the very latest. Deb?
Hi, Barbara Lee, and we are reporting on the ground. The visibility is reduced for us in the air, so we're keeping an eye on things from our traffic base here. Start off with our camera of the 5 near Laurel, giving you a look at the traffic downtown. It's definitely busy on that southbound side. There is a wreck on the northbound side of the 5. As we go to our maps, it's at Gilman, but of course most people are southbound this time of the evening. Both the 5 and the 805 jam up in the Golden Triangle, and they stay fairly busy to the South Bay. It is also a busy ride for eastbound commuters on the 52. That starts to jam up at the 805 up over the hill towards Santee. Interstate 8 off and on through Mission Valley there with the slowing. And then up in the North County, a traffic advisory just about wrapped up because of some road work on the 67, the northbound side around Mount Woodson. They have picked up that road work, it looks like, and traffic is starting to get back to normal, but a pretty slow go for anybody making their way toward Ramona. Over on the 5, expect heavy traffic through Del Mar, off and on up into Carlsbad. And on the 15, heaviest part of the traffic is through Mira Mesa and again up into Rancho Bernardo. That's your first check of the roads. Another look outside here downtown. Barbara Lee and Carlo, back to you.
Thanks, Deb. The CBS News 8 crime fighters need your help in a countywide manhunt.
That's coming up tonight along with this.
The government is on the brink of shutting down. I'm Weijia Zhang on Capitol Hill with why Congress is struggling to keep it open.
And there's a change in the air for San Diego's weather. You may have noticed it outside this evening. The details are coming up with your microclimate forecast.